Hey, Fwed.
Hello.
So, weren't you just in Niagara Falls?
Yes.
Oh,
well, the other video.
That's from yesterday's video with Sullivan.
Yes.
Well, since you're back from a long trip, I bet you're hungry.
It was actually a short trip.
It was
instantaneous space travel.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of temporal thing because I just time travel.
Oh, well, good for you. So I guess you're not hungry then?
Well, no, I'm very hungry.
Oh, okay. Well, what kind of food do aliens like after they've gone on a trip?
Well, yeah, well, something gluten-y and something full of carbs, to build up the temporal hunger.
Oh, okay. So full of carbs and gluten-y. Are you talking about bread?
Bread, yes.
Yeah. Well, I bet we could make a nice bread for you with just 3-ingredient bread for Fwed.
Bread for Fwed?
Yeah. So let's find out how to do that.
Okay. So what kind of bread are we making?
Well, because we only have 3 ingredients, we are going to be making a flatbread.
A flatbread?
Yep. So that's...
Did someone sit on it?
Nope. It starts out flat and it stays flat.
Oh!
Now, flatbreads are one of the earliest types of breads because they don't need yeast.
They don't need yeast?
Nope. They can be made on any flat surface that you can get heat onto.
Oh, is that what they call it, flatbread?
That's what they call it, flatbread. It's nice and flat, and it's great for things like tacos or sandwiches, or just all on its own. You could make a pizza out of it, too.
Ooh.
So our flatbread starts out with the ingredient that you usually put into bread, which is...
Flour?
Flour. We are using self-rising flour.
Wait a minute. If it's if it rises, then it's not flat.
Well, you want a little bit of puffiness in it. Otherwise, it would be really, really dense and chewy.
Oh, so it's a flat, not quite puffy bread.
Right. So if you're thinking about if it really puffed up, it would be like a pita bread.
Uh-huh.
With the pocket inside. This one is just more of a flatbread that has like those little bubbles.
No pockets.
Yeah, the little air pockets inside.
Non-tangle.
Yep, and the self-rising flour has a leavening agent in it that helps it do that. If you don't have self-rising flour, you can always make your own. You just add baking powder and salt to regular flour. This just makes it easy.
That's another 3-ingredient flour.
Yeah, it's a 3-ingredient flour, but we're going to just start off with the self-rising flour, and that's 1.5 cups.
Ooh.
Our next ingredient is yogurt.
Ooh, good, because I'm on a diet, so I don't want it too heavy.
Yep, this is a non-fat yogurt. What it does is it gives us some of the protein that you would normally want to find in a bread, but it also adds a nice tanginess, because yogurt, it's got that kind of tangy flavor to it.
Tang.
Yep, and it's got
That's what they drink in space.
Yep, and this is the wonderful, the wonderful tanginess that adds to the bread, and it also adds all of the moisture you need to form a dough. So we are going to use 3/4 of a cup of yogurt. I would suggest using non-fat or low-fat yogurt. You could use full-fat yogurt, but you might need to adjust the flour a little bit. And our final ingredient is vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil.
Now, we're only using a little tiny bit of this. This is just what we are frying these breads in.
Does it have to be vegetable oil?
I would say that you need an oil with a high, what they call a high smoke point, and that means that the oil doesn't burn when it gets hot, because we're going to cook these on high heat. So you wouldn't want to use you wouldn't want to use butter.
Okay.
So
want to burn the butter.
Yep. So vegetable oil or canola oil, something like that, will work really well, and that's just enough to put on the bottom of your pan so that your bread fries and doesn't stick. I'm starting out with 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. If you don't have self-rising flour, you can make your own. There are plenty of recipes online. It just involves adding baking powder and salt to regular flour. The self-rising just has it all mixed together so that you don't have to do that. Also reduces the number of things that you have to keep track of. To that, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of yogurt. I am using a non-fat Greek yogurt. You can use non-fat or low-fat. And we're just going to start combining this together until it starts to form into a dough. And then once it starts to stick together, you can start using your hands. Most of the yogurt, my yogurt came right out of the fridge, so it's a little bit cold, so it's not combining as quickly as it would if it was room temperature. So I'm just going to use my hands to start bringing this all together. Then once you have it combined as well as you can just pour it out onto your counter. You can flour the counter if the dough is feeling a little bit sticky. Otherwise, the flour directly from the dough will do that pretty effectively for you. And you're just going to continue working this dough until it comes completely together. If it's a little bit dry, like mine is, you can always add a few drops of water or just a little bit more yogurt. I would say probably about a half teaspoon at a time until the whole thing comes together. If it's too sticky, you can always add in a little bit more flour as well. All right, after working this and adding in a little bit more of the yogurt just to make it a little bit softer, you'll have a ball of dough that holds together and doesn't get too crumbly. What you're going to want to do is then knead this for a few minutes just to get this so that it's nice and soft and can be rolled out nicely without crumbling apart. And then once you have it kneaded out, we will cover it with a towel and let it rest for about 20 minutes before we make it into the rounds that we will fry for our flatbread. Okay, the dough has rested for about 20 minutes. It just holds together a lot better this way if you just let it rest. So now what we're going to do is cut this up and divide it into several pieces. This will probably make quite a few little flatbreads. Now I'm just going to spread a little bit of flour on my surface and take each piece of the dough, roll it into a small ball. Then I'm going to take a rolling pin, make sure that that has enough flour on it too, and then I'm going to just roll this out until it's very, very thin. Okay, so there's our first flatbread. It's very, very thin. Like I said, you can make this as thin or as thick as you want. It just will, the only thing it'll affect is the cooking time. So what I have to store these as I am folding these out is I'm going to just put this on a plate with some flour on it. And then in between each layer, I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of flour so that they don't stick together and make one big, thick piece of flatbread. Okay, and now I'm going to turn my pan on to medium-high heat, and I'm going to add just a small amount of vegetable oil. You want an oil that can handle the heat, so you don't want to do anything that will start smoking like butter. I'm going to just take a paper towel and wipe that oil around the bottom of my pan and let it come up to a nice temperature. And then once your pan is nice and warm, I'm just going to take each flatbread and just put it down and just let it sit there until it starts to brown up. You'll see some small bubbles will start to form on the surface of this, and that means that it might be ready to flip. What you're looking for is for it to be just cooked through and for a little bit of bubbling on top. You're not looking for a really deep color, and you don't want it to crisp up. Now, if you look really closely, you can see these little bubbles starting to form on the top. That means that you're starting to cook through. You can always check on the bottom, and yep, got a nice golden color where the bubbles have formed, and the rest of it feels like it's cooked. You just definitely want to make sure that you are cooking this through. You don't want it to taste like raw flour.
What do you think?
That'll be good. It really is. This is the easiest type of bread that you can make. If you don't have any bread in your house, you can just, and you do have some flour and some yogurt, you could make a perfectly nice flatbread that you could make a sandwich with. You could fill it with some salad and make a wrap.
Or you can make a pizza.
You could make a pizza, you could make a taco. This type of bread has been around for centuries, and there's a reason for it. It is so easy to make, you can make a whole big pile of it, then you won't go hungry, especially if you've been traveling in a spaceship like Fwed.
Yes.
Well, was that enough to fill you up after your intergalactic travel?
Of course.
Oh, wonderful. So, did you enjoy coming back here after you did a video?
I always enjoy coming back here.
Oh, wonderful. So, if people enjoyed watching this video, what can they do?
They can subscribe.
If you subscribe, you will be notified every time we have a new video up. We make a new 3-ingredient recipe every Thursday. We also have a couple of other shows, one of which you were on yesterday.
Of course.
Sullivan's Spaniel is a dog who wants to be famous, and then we have George and Dog, who is another dog, and they talk about good self-esteem.
Here.
So Sullivan's here on...
I'm with the dog star.
Dog's here, Sullivan's here on Wednesdays, and George and Dog are here on Sundays. And a bunch of things go on this channel, so it would be great if you'd subscribe. You can also leave a comment down below if there's a recipe.
Podcast into outer space.
Yep. You can leave a comment down below and let us know what type of recipes you'd like us to try. And then finally, you can share these videos with your friends, sharing these videos on social media.
You get a video, you'll get a video.
Yeah.
We all get a video.
Exactly.
It's like Oprah.
It's like Oprah, and if she's president, maybe she'll share our videos all over.
Oh.
There we go. So thanks so much for joining us this time.
The chief.
We will see you again next time.
Bye-bye.
I think there's another piece of bread over there.
Ooh.
Our next ingredient is yogurt.
Yogurt?
Yep. So the yogurt
I want a diet, too.
Yeah, well, this is a low-fat yogurt. Actually, it's a non-fat yogurt. This is a non-fat Greek yogurt.
Ooh.
What this does is it adds a nice...
I need my wife like that.
Yeah, it adds a nice...
Yaya.
From your yaya?
Or Anaki Yaya. It's Greek.
It is, yes. So we can... No, we can... Sorry. I'm trying to get through this. Give me a couple weeks and we can improv. I have too much to do. Okay.